is Nancy and welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're all doing well. And guess what? We are transitioning into the fall season. Now that summer is over, I hope that your fall is off to a wonderful start. And I have, I think, a really good first recipe for the fall season. You know, the kids are probably back in school. You're having some fun nights together, kind of pondering homework, going over, the day's events. How about pizza, right? There is never a bad time for pizza, but this one is kind of interesting. It's an air-fried, wood-fired pizza. Now, I know what you're thinking. How are you going to get a wood-fired pizza out of my air fryer? Well, it's kind of a tip for you. But you have to stay tuned to watch the video to see how it goes. Pretty simple, really. But it's such a great little tip, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. You ready to see how it goes? Let's go.
Okay, let's look at our ingredients and go over the recipe for our wood-fired air-fried pizza. Okay, today we're making a barbecue chicken pizza. This is one of my favorite pizzas. And we're going to make kind of a basic 2-ingredient dough. We're going to start with equal parts flour and yogurt. So 1/3 of a cup of self-rising flour and 1/3 of a cup of the plain non-fat Greek yogurt, and I'm using the Fage. This is my favorite brand, but use whatever you have because it's all the same. The ingredients are the same, but I do love the consistency of the Fage. So I'm going to go ahead and get those ingredients in the bowl, and our next ingredient is an egg white. So the egg whites of 1 egg, we're going to go ahead and add that, and it's because I would like a thicker crust. So I'm going to use that, and I think the egg helps to kind of fluffy up my crust. Now, this is how we get our wood-fired taste. We're going to add liquid smoke to our crust and our batter here. So I'm using a cap full of the hickory flavored smoke, liquid smoke. And that's going to aid into the, again, flavoring of our crust. I'm going to also add 1 teaspoon of cooking oil, and it just adds to the rich texture of our crust. 1 teaspoon, 1 point for the oil. I think it's totally worth it in something like this, if you're counting WW points. And we're going to go ahead and just add a little bit of salt because, of course, you want to ensure that your crust has a tiny bit more of that flavoring. So let's go ahead and mix that together. So if you are an old adapter to the 2-ingredient dough, you have probably perfected your own recipe as of now. And Lord knows at the very beginning it was such a messy process trying to get it down, but I think this works really well, especially for individual size pizzas. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get my dough onto parchment paper that I have kind of measured out and into kind of a square piece. And again, this is just one individual pizza. I like a cornmeal crust. I don't know if any of you do. So this is something that I do. You don't necessarily have to add, but I'm going to add just a little smattering of cornmeal onto my parchment paper and a little bit of cooking spray to ensure that this dough doesn't stick. And I'm going to add my dough directly onto that parchment paper, and I'm just going to kind of pat out a circle. So, of course, the 2-ingredient dough doesn't necessarily come together like a traditional pizza dough. So, I'm just going to pat it out to create sort of a circular pattern. And I've sprayed the back of my spoon with cooking spray so that it doesn't stick as I'm creating the shape that I want. So here's my method here. A little bit of patting and smearing. And I think this works really well. And of course, depending on the size of your air fryer, you know, you might want to adjust the size of your pizza. But all of the ingredients and the size of my pizza, it fit and it worked well. All right, once you have the size of the dough that you want, no dough left behind, as you can see there, I'm going to go ahead and actually sprinkle my crust with a little bit of Italian seasoning. So, here I want to give you a little bit of a close-up of that dough. You see, it's not perfectly rounded, and that's fine. This is, you know, it should kind of look like a wood-fired pizza, right? Those are never perfectly shaped. Okay, here is my Italian seasoning onto my crust. And we're going to go ahead and put it into the air fryer. And I am going to use the 350-degree setting. And it looks like I put it in here for 25 minutes. I don't know. I can't remember if I cooked it for that entirety. I do remember checking it and thinking that the crust was a little dark. It turned out just fine. But you check it as well. I may have stopped it at the 20-minute mark. But here is the dough, kind of a deep golden brown. And it turned out just fine. I'm going to get it out and move on to our next step. Now, look at the back of that crust. Kind of blonde, isn't it? Now, it's cooked completely all the way through, and I'm okay with the back of it looking like that. But I probably should have not used parchment paper that didn't have the holes, like the one in the piece of paper in the back. It would have helped cooked a bit more evenly, you know? But it's okay. Next time I know. Okay, let's start making the ingredients of our barbecue chicken pizza. Classic ingredients. I have a little bit of cilantro, some red onion, barbecue sauce. I'm using a little bit of mozzarella cheese. This Kinder's barbecue sauce is my new favorite. It is delicious. You know, the hickory, oh my goodness, it is definitely my new favorite. I love that you can squeeze out as much as you'd like. It is delicious. And so I'm going to go ahead and use that as my sauce. Spread that over the dough. Add my cheese. This is part skim mozzarella cheese. Pick that up at Trader Joe's. I use this all the time. And this is probably somewhere around 1/4 of a cup of cheese. And, you know, who doesn't love cheese? And for my chicken, I am using the Tyson strips, blackened chicken strips there, red onion. You know, if you go to one of my favorite barbecue chicken pizzas comes from CPK, and these are kind of the traditional ingredients on their barbecue chicken pizza, and it's so delicious. And we're going to also add, of course, our cilantro, which just lends to the kind of tanginess to our barbecue chicken pizza. And so once we get all of our ingredients piled onto our air-fryered, wood-fired barbecue chicken pizza, we're going to place it back into the air fryer for only maybe 5 more minutes just to let that cheese melt through, warm that chicken up, and we are good to go. Here we go, back into the air fryer. See, it fits perfectly. Back in there. And voila, Here we go. It looks delicious. Guys, this was so delicious. It really felt like a restaurant pizza, you know? And you could have friends and family over one night, and everyone can make their own wood-fired, air-fryer pizza. It just took minutes to come together once you do your dough, and it was so delicious. Definitely felt store-bought. I'm going to top my pizza off with a little more of that delicious barbecue sauce. And this was awesome. Check it out. Restaurant ready. I'm telling you. You got to give this recipe a try. That liquid smoke was key. Such a great idea. Let me know what you think.
What did I tell you? So easy, right? Liquid smoke. Such a good little trick, you know. They have hickory, they have mesquite liquid smoke, and you know, liquid smoke has come a long way. I remember using it years ago, and it would just overpower whatever you would use it for. But these days, it's much more subtle, and of course, you kind of have to use a pretty even, light, you know, not so heavy-handed. You can't be heavy-handed. You got to be, you know, pretty light on your pour with the liquid smoke, because, you know, it will overtake whatever you're using it for. But it's such a great little idea, and of course, you have to kind of be careful with your portions in the air fryer for those individual pizzas. But that was such a great recipe, and I did it again recently and enjoyed it again. So I hope you enjoyed that, and you know, it's something you could do time and time again. And of course, you know, if you're making it with children, they could get in there and make it, you know, for themselves, because it's such an easy recipe. Or you can make the dough ahead and wait till some buddies come over and make their own, throw it in the air fryer, and have a really good kind of Friday night pizza and, you know, drinks night. So there you go. All right, well, good to see you. Well, I hope it's good to see me, because I really can't see you. Hope to bring you some more videos soon. And again, I hope your fall is off to a lovely start. All right, until the next video. See you soon. Take care. Bye.